Hello, friends. Welcome and namaste. Let us begin in child's pose. While we're kind of getting settled in, most of y'all know I live in the northern hemisphere. We are moving from late fall into winter. And that being said, it's getting cold outside. It's very dry, right? These certain qualities that are in our atmosphere, our environment, our climate, and in us. So we're going to kind of go with that same vein we've been working in. Moving. So we get that movement, we build some heat, but we're going to do it slow and steady, trying to keep some of that earth underneath our feet so we don't get swept up with the with the air and ether of autumn. So feel that ground underneath you, under your hands, your forehead, whether that's on a block, whatever it is, right? I call all of that earth. Your shins, what parts of your feet are touching, probably not the very tops of your ankles, etc. So just notice what you notice. Coming into child's pose right off the bat may be hard for your body. If you need to modify it or do a forward fold, take care of yourself. Come into the breath, just a couple of conscious breaths here. I'll try to bring us back to the breath throughout. That Ujjayi breath we've been playing with. Restriction, slight restriction at the throat. If that one doesn't make sense, I do have videos that break down the Ujjayi breath. You could always go do one of those. Walk your hands out so your arms are straight. Have your hands about as wide as your mat for this first bit. Wider than shoulder distance, hopefully. Just a little. As you push down into the mat, let your forearms lift up. Try to rotate your outer upper arms in towards your face and take a breath. Utthita, extended, balasana, child's pose. You're going to lift your forehead, walk over to the right of center. My hands are still shoulder distance, but my right hand is off my mat. My left hand is near the edge of the right side of my mat, and my forearms are still lifting. It's still the same thing we were just doing, extended child's pose, but to the side. Lift the forehead. Come all the way over until you're towards the left side of your room. And again, find Utthita Balasana, but again, just to the left a little bit, Parshva side. Parshva Utthita Balasana. Come on back to center. You can bring your hands into shoulder distance, lift your buttocks up, bring your knees in so your knees are about hip distance, and sit back down. We're going to go and do a little movement on the breath here, a little series, right? And we did it last week, so hopefully it's kind of familiar. Inhale up to cow. Sternum moves away from belly button. Exhale back, downward dog. You could just do cat if that's better for you. Knees down, inhaling chest forward into cow again. Exhale, uncurl your toes back in a child's pose. Now here we veer. Inhale, come up on the knees, reach the arms out. So it's a kneeling kind of a sun salutation, right? And exhale back down into child's pose. I'm going to take off a layer already here. Inhale into cow. Exhale, downward dog. Find the breath. Inhale, cow. Don't move this too fast. I could move a lot faster. But again, part of our method, exhale back, child's pose, is to move slow, to move with the breath. Come into kneeling on the inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhale back in a child's pose, right? So I'm trying to appease that vata, that desire for movement, without creating an imbalance. Inhale, reach the chest forward, because if we're just all up and we don't use any earth, exhale back, we can end up being anxious, worried, forgetful. Inhale, knees down, reach the chest forward. Exhale back, spaced out. flighty. We have so many different kind of words for this, right? Inhale, reach the arms out and up. This is not bad. Exhale, reach the arms down, but we can come to a place that's a little more balanced. And one of the ways we can do that, one more time on your own, right, is to listen to what's happening in our body and the environment around us and try to find balance. One of Ayurvedic biggest tools and expressions is like increases like, opposites balance. So the opposite of that air and that wind, exhale down. We're going to come through the first part of that again until we end up in downward facing dog, y'all. So follow your breath. I'm here if you need to see it and you can't remember it. But we'll meet in downward dog. My friends who are using a blanket, go ahead and pull that out of the way if you were. And now we're going to go back and forth a few times between a push-up, top of a push-up, and in downward dog. So here we are in downward dog. That's an exhale. Inhale forward to the top of a push-up. If you need to track your toes back a little so your shoulders end up over your wrists, do that. And exhale back again. It is a slow movement. Feel free to bend the knees. Inhale forward to the top of a plank. Take that whole breath to get there. You're just there for a hot second. And then exhaling back. Take the whole breath to get there. 2 more of those if that's in your realm today. You could not go as far and not go into the full plank. You could put your knees down for a second if that's better for you. Now the next time you're forward, we're going to go ahead. All of us bring the knees down for this first round, right? I want to do some tricep push-ups, half push-ups in this instance. So before we do, we're going to set up that upper back, right? So really root down into the ground. Find those shoulders hugging in. Shoulder blades a little together and down just so you can reach the chest board, but don't let the belly and the ribs flare to the ground, right? And then exhale, elbows like they could brush your side. Bend the elbows a little or a lot. Inhale, maybe it's a centimeter, right? Maybe you come down a little lower. Don't go lower than shoulders the same height as the elbows. That would be the lowest you would go with this. Try and do 2 more of those. Building heat. Slowly move. Try not to pop. This next one, we get to come down, 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 all the way onto our bellies. Uncurl your toes, maybe get some space at the thighs, the front of the hips. Inhale up, low cobra. And exhale down. Remember, feet down, thighs lift, pubic bone down, belly pulls up. Now stay there, lift your hands, make sure it's your upper back doing the work today, right? You're going to reach your arms out in front of you, straightening the arms, shoulder distance. Push down into your fingers, pads. I'm on all my finger pads, right? And then I'm going to try and hug my shoulders into the sockets and get a little bit of security around my shoulders. Push the feet down, thighs lift. And again, I cannot say it enough. I watch too many people hurt their low backs, right? Move the pubic bone down, pull the belly up, and keep the low back supported and long, no compression. And then from there, right arm and left leg, going swimming. Take that whole breath. Exhale down. Ooh, gosh, that's a slow move, isn't it? It's so little. So inhale. When we try to keep that 5 count inhale and exhale, that means this movement, it feels like we're moving like a sloth. Yep, you betcha. That's the movement. I don't think you need me to repeat it since we know this one quite well. You could do just one limb and not do both at the same time. You could not lift any limbs, just have your hands and your feet on the ground and imagine that you're lifting. And try to go ahead and finish off with left arm, right leg whenever you get there. And come on down, stack your hands, elbows wide. Bring your forehead to the backs of your hands, pause. Let the whole body soften. I think it's always wise to just notice where you're holding tension. This is when we start to find out what our habitual tension is. Every time I bring my awareness to my body, my jaw is clenched, right? But maybe there are times where you don't notice something in your upper back, but at this moment in time, you're getting a cramp in your upper right back or some such thing. We don't have to have an answer for everything. We just practice noticing without judgment. Okay. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to roll onto your side body. You can roll onto either side, friends. The one where you can see me if you need to. And then you can bring a blanket, a block, or your arm underneath the head. But let's support the head for just a moment here. My knees are bent, almost like tabletop. And my arms are just in a comfortable position for now, wherever that is for you. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to keep your big toes together. Keep that right hip, or that top hip, sorry, we're on different sides potentially. Keep that top hip from moving back. So you could put the hand right behind the hip like it's a wall, and then lift the top knee. So it's not about getting that knee high. I can get really freaking high, but I'm moving my pelvis back to do it, and so I'm not isolating in my glutes as much as I could. And that's not the end all be all, right? But I'd love, if available, for all of us to try to target our glutes, right? So again, this is a pretty small motion. It doesn't take much to get that knee up. I'd still love that 5 count inhale and exhale. So think of moving like a sloth, a very fluid, amazing sloth, right? But just meaning move slow and take a whole time to lift that 5 counts and that whole 5 counts to lower. Ujjayi breath. The next time you're up, let's stay and meet there. And then with baby pulses, I can barely see them, pulse up on 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that down. You're going to straighten your legs out so you're a little bit more like an arrow, right? And then from there, you're going to step your right foot in front of your left leg, and you can just put that foot down on the ground wherever it makes it. It's great. We're going to work with the bottom leg. I keep saying right, left, I think. I apologize. Top leg, foot is on the ground in front of the bottom leg, and the bottom leg is the one we're going to work with. Go ahead and lift the bottom leg up, right? And bring that down. Try to use that whole 5 counts to lift, so it is a very slow, steady movement. Which is funny, we really want to move fast and pop into things. There's something to be said about that as well. There really is. But, right, when we move in this really slow, steady way, we're more likely to get some of those stabilizers, which are closer into the body and the bones, right, to activate than just the really big movement muscles. And we want the stabilizers to turn on. So what's happening in your pelvic floor, in your corset, in your solar plexus, all these things we've been learning through these weeks. The next time you're up, stay up and pulse up on 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that down. You go onto your back or your belly, but take just a moment and watch that head. Don't make sure you don't hurt your neck with that prop underneath it. Notice your body. And then you're going to just roll to the other side. Now, you probably don't need to see me, but I'm going to stay facing forward in case you need to see what my body is doing. Again, please support the head for this particular instance. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but since we'll be here for a little bit and the head's not involved, let's support it. So first I'm in tabletop. I can bring that top hand behind that top hip so it doesn't move back and it gives it a wall, right? Biofeedback mechanism, I always consider it. Lift that top knee and lower it. And if you've already done 5, I'm going to encourage you, come back to that Ujjayi breath, 5 count inhale and 5 count exhale, and let that be just as important as the movement. I could go on and on about the benefits of this breath. I could go on and on about the benefits of moving slowly, working with the weight of the body. I'm not saying it's the only way to work, it's the way we're working today. Yeah? The next time you're up, stay up and pulse up to the ceiling, baby pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that down. Straighten yourself out like an arrow. Take that top leg, bend it, put the foot in front of the bottom leg, just so you have it out of the way. And then that bottom leg is the working leg now. Flex the foot, right? And find that beautiful 5 count inhale and exhale. Every time you inhale, let's Lift the leg. Every time you exhale, let's lower the leg. Check in with your pelvic floor, right? Find out about 20% of that perineum buckering up. Find that corset that runs all the way around your body, right? Let that gently give you a bear hug. Support. We're just looking for support, right? Check in with that solar plexus. Just make sure there's a little activity there. You could go into upper back, etc. Keep that spine stable as you do the leg lifts. Once the leg is up the next time, stay there and pulse on 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that down. Come on to your belly. Hands next to low floating ribs. Curl the toes under. You can leave the knees down. That's totally fine. But before you do the lift through your reverse push-up, I'm going to call it, turn some stuff on, right? Find your adductors, inner groin. Find your pelvic floor, perineum pulling up. Find your corset that runs all the way around the body and the solar plexus, that area between your shoulder blades, long neck, straighten your arms. Downward dog. Breathe. Notice what you notice in Adho Mukha Svanasana this time. You might already know some micro adjustments for you to make, just sheerly because you habitually go into a particular place, but you might not. And then just scan through the body, and as you do, you can make little adjustments. You don't have to be stagnant. Still, yeah, but I can still rotate my outer upper arm bones when I notice that they're moving towards internal rotation. I can still reach my buttocks bones up when I realize they're being pulled to my heels, etc. Inhale the right leg into the air behind you and bring it forward between the hands. Feel free to bring your blocks in here. I'm just going to switch my body this way since my other block's over here. And then we're going to move in and out a couple times for the hips. So with an inhale, move forward. The right knee bends more, my hips come down a little bit, right? And then I'm going to exhale, I'm going to pull my hips back. I might even flex my right foot a little bit and do that again. Inhale, bending in, and exhale, straightening. And then come to the in-between, right? Yes, my right knee is bent, but I'm not hanging. As a matter of fact, we've been using the scissor action again. So I can think of tractioning my right foot back, my left foot a little forward, or scissoring my thighs, whatever works for you. But my pelvis and my core start to turn on. Keep it. Reach the arms forward, hover. You could just do one arm, that would be fine. You could keep both hands on the blocks. Bend the left knee and bring the body up. So why do we bend the left knee? We keep that pelvis neutral, right? So try to keep that frontal hip points pulling up. Now straighten the left leg without your frontal hip points blushing forward. That just hurts the back after time, man. Has a lot of potential to do damage in the low back. I'm not kidding. And maybe you grab your elbow points and you lengthen through the sideways. We've been adding that in. Reach the arms up or hands on hips for the next move. You ready for this? You're going to pitch a little bit forward, tone the belly, and you're going to bend that left knee and try to come forward. Hopefully toes off the air. You can see I didn't get that. And I'm going to bring my left knee up just to about the height of my hip. And then I'm going to fold forward as I kick the left heel back. Reach the chest forward. I'm going to come back into that lunge. You ready? Fold a little forward, belly, find all your pelvic floor, the living core. Try to float that left foot forward. If you got to drag it, that's okay, no worries. Lift it up a little, a lot. Reach it all the way back. Whew, 5 count. Oh, it's easier to use that 5 count here. There's more motion, right? One more. This time when we get forward, try to stay forward. Try to leave that left leg lifted. Try to use that right glute. We did those clamshells to fire up. You remember that? Bring that foot down. Whew. Hello, everybody. Inhale, reach those arms up and out. Exhale, fold. We're going to do a push-up series, so you might move your blocks. Inhale, lengthen chest. Bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to a plank. Go to downward dog if you're like, no way. Bring your knees down or not. Bend your elbows straight back. Low cobra or upward dog, your choice. I'm not going to teach upward dog today. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Breathe. So this is some of the bigger stuff we're going to do today. It's not going to be a crazy, crazy class, right? But hopefully we're still building this gradual heat and bringing it into our body, right? Tapas. It's also very cleansing and purifying. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you. Bring it forward between the hands. Feel free to bring in blocks or come on fingertips, but get long. Find your spine here because it just gets harder, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to move that left knee a little further forward. Let the hips kind of sink in. So one of those hanging in the hips, which I don't do often. Flex, straighten the left leg, maybe flex the left foot a little bit. Moving forward again. Straighten the leg, moving back again. And then come to neutral is what I'm going to call it. Find that scissor of the thighs, or you can think of scissoring your feet towards each other. They don't move, they're a sticky man. You can leave your hands on the blocks. You can reach one arm, or you can reach both arms forward and hover, right? And then bend the right knee to come up so that that pelvis is the leading factor. The whole spine is one unit. Maybe the right leg straightens a little bit, maybe not. I'm going to bring my hands to my hips so you can leave your arms overhead, right? Ooh, I forgot though. You might want to get side length before we go. So you might grab your elbow points. Then either arms up or hands on the hips. You ready? Oh my gosh. Come a little forward. Try to step that right foot forward. You can drag it if you need to. You can take a couple steps, but try to not have the toes on the earth if you can, right? And step back. And as I say that, my first time on both sides, I totally drug my foot, right? The second time I kind of find it a little bit more. First time is I was like, wait, what are you asking me to do? My body wants to know what, right? And I just want to point out how much we have the opportunity, should we choose, to use that left glute muscle that we warmed up with those clamshells. Do you remember that? Try to stay forward this time, leaving the leg lifted for a moment, and then go ahead and bring that foot down. Whew. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Exhale, fold. Don't be in a rush. There's no reason to rush. Inhale, lengthen. Bend your knees, plant your hands. And if you're doing like, yeah, but I got to hurry up and get my yoga in because I got to do this and this and this. Exhale while you're on the mat. Try not to go into that mentality, right? You got these about 20 minutes together. You're not going to get more benefit if you do it faster. The yoga belief is that it's the intention and the way you do it, not how many of something you do. And it's more beneficial to do something with awareness, attention, detail, right? Love, kindness, compassion, than it is to do a bunch of something. Knees down into child's pose. Maybe that diamond-shaped child's pose we've been playing with. If you need a different position, take it. Be curious if child's pose feels any different now than it did at the beginning of class. No judgment on it. Oh, this is so much better. This is awesome, right? Not that, or not like, oh, I was fine and now this hurts, or just simply noticing the relationship over your hips were to your heels, forehead to the floor, what the neck feels like, the upper back, low back, knees, jaw, tongue. Push the floor away. Come on up to an upright posture. Maybe that's sitting cross-legged for you. Y'all know I have something in my pelvis. My chiropractor has asked me not to sit cross-legged as much as I can, or to try not to sit that way often or long. So I'm trying to be a good patient. Bring those hands together in front of your chest. Inhale. Bow your head in, taking a moment of gratitude. And again, every time we feel like we got to rush today, or everything is energetically moving upwards, or we're worried, or we're anxious, or forgetful, or flighty, pause. Maybe do a couple of those Ujjayi breaths. Feel the earth underneath you. And maybe let your next few movements be slower and on the breath. May you find benefit in this practice. Namaste. And I guess the thing I would add is, may any benefit we feel from this work that we do ripple out into the world around us. Namaste, friends.